true story of Candyman that inspired the horror classic. Candyman is an urban legend about an avenging spirit with a hook for a hand who is summoned by saying his name 5 times in a mirror. The legend originated with Daniel Robitaille, a 19th century painter who was lynched for an interracial relationship. His brutal murder and burning by a mob transformed him into the vengeful Candyman. In the films, the Candyman legend has evolved to represent victims of systemic racism, with new figures like Sherman Fields and Anthony McCoy becoming additional incarnations of the spirit. The original Candyman, Daniel Robitaille. Origin. In the 1890s, Daniel Robitaille, the son of a slave who became a successful painter, fell in love with a white woman. Death. His forbidden relationship led to his brutal murder. A mob cut off his hand and replaced it with a hook. He was then covered in honey and stung to death by bees before his body was burned, and his ashes were scattered over the Cabrini-Green housing project. Legacy. Robitaille's death was an act of racial violence and injustice, and his spirit was trapped in the urban legend. The urban legend. Summoning. The legend states that if you say Candyman 5 times while looking into a mirror, his vengeful spirit will appear to kill you. Symbolism. Candyman serves as a symbol of racial violence and a manifestation of the traumas experienced by the African American community, particularly those in Cabrini-Green. From a history of racial terror in America to one Chicago woman's disturbing murder, the true story of Candyman is even more tragic and frightening than the movie itself. Though the events of Candyman may seem like they could never happen in real life, one story suggests otherwise: the tragic murder of Ruthie Mae McCoy, a lonely, mentally ill resident of the AlexGrohl homes on Chicago's South Side. The movie contains several elements of this sad tale. Candyman's first confirmed victim is Ruthie Jean, a Cabrini-Green resident murdered by someone who came through her bathroom mirror. Like Ruthie McCoy, neighbors, including the coincidentally named Anne-Marie McCoy, saw Ruthie Jean as crazy. And, like Ruthie McCoy, Ruthie Jean called the police, only to die alone and without help. The movie takes place and was partially filmed at the Cabrini-Green housing project on Chicago's near North Side. Cabrini-Green, like the AlexGrohl homes where Ruth McCoy lived and died, was built to house thousands of Black Americans who came to Chicago for work and to escape the terror of the Jim Crow South, largely during the Great Migration. The modern apartments featured gas stoves, indoor plumbing and bathrooms, hot water, and climate control to offer comfort to residents through the brutal cold of Lake Michigan winters. This early promise held out, and the homes appeared in television shows like Good Times as a model of a decent standard of living. But racism fueled neglect from the Chicago Housing Authority, which transformed Cabrini-Green into a nightmare. By the 1990s, in full view of Sears Tower, 15,000 people, almost all African American, lived in dilapidated buildings, rife with crime resulting from poverty and the drug trade. Around the time Candyman premiered in 1992, a report revealed that only 9% of Cabrini residents had access to paying jobs. The rest relied on paltry assistance grants, and many turned to crime in order to survive. In the film, the talented Black artist Daniel Robitaille fell in love with and impregnated a white woman whose portrait he was painting back in 1890. Upon discovery, her father hires a gang to beat him, sees off his hand and replaces it with a hook. In the film, they then covered him in honey and let bees sting him to death. And in death, he became Candyman. Hen Helen Lyle is implied to be the reincarnation of Candyman's white lover. This aspect of the story is especially terrifying because the risk to interracial couples, and to Black men in particular, was all too real throughout the history of the United States. The timing is an important detail. By the late 19th century, white mobs took their anger out on their Black neighbors, with lynchings growing common as the years passed. In 1880, for example, lynch mobs murdered 40 African Americans. By 1890, the year cited in the movie as the start of the Candyman legend, that number had more than doubled to 85, and those were only the recorded killings. In fact, widespread violence was so popular that mobs even organised lynching bees, a grotesque murderous counterpart to quilting bees or spelling bees. The lynching described in Candyman remains so terrifying because it was a lived, daily reality for generations of African Americans, whose reflection can be seen in the terror experienced by the Candyman. In fact, it wasn't until the 1967 Supreme Court case, Loving v. Virginia, that interracial couples gained legal recognition for their partnerships, by which time thousands of attacks and murders had been committed against African Americans all over the country. In February 2020, the House of Representatives passed a bill making lynching a federal crime.
One day, he's commissioned to paint the daughter of a Chicago factory owner who made his fortune in stockyards. Well, broken eye can never be all of this son of his name. They fell in love. They had an affair, she got pregnant. The girl tells her father what, he hired some men to hunt Robitaille down and told him to get creative. Chase him through here in the middle of the day. He collapses from exhaustion right near where the old tower in Chestnut used to be. They beat him, tortured him. They cut off his arm and jam a meat hook in the stump. They smear honeycomb from the nearby hives on his chest and let the bees sting him. A crowd started to form to watch the show. The big finale. They set him on fire, and he finally dies. But a story like that, pain like that, lasts forever. That's Candyman.
Special thanks to you, the viewers. Without you, this channel would not be possible. And due to heavy censorship on this part of the internet, please show your support by pledging or donating $1 or whatever you can to help this channel grow. Here at theblackAwakening.com, we pride ourselves in bringing you the truth. We are not colonized nor monetized. So be informed, not influenced. I would like to personally thank each and every one of you for your support. So I'm going to leave you in the manner in which I came, with a universal prayer. In the name of the universal creator of heaven and earth and everything in between, please continue to bless my listeners, their family, their friends, and the true believers for when the day of reckoning takes place. For universal creator, you are all wise and all knowing, and unto you we all shall return. But until then, we give you the praise and glory that's due to you from this life into the earth. In the name of the universal creator of heaven and earth and everything in between, in your name we pray that this shall be done. Also, family, get yourself a copy of the Black Universal Creators 100 Laws, Morals, and Precepts. The paperback's available on Amazon, ebooks on Kindle. And for my subscribers and my supporters, you can go to theblackAwakening.com and get your discount on ebooks. Again, like and share, reach one, teach one, peace, and take care.